Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is 7 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the first day of February, February 3rd, 2025. Uh, I'm not really going to waste a lot of time looking back at Friday's session, to be honest with you. We're, between 525 and 530 on the Qs and between 605 and 610 on the SPY and, 6050 and 6100 basically the E on the SPX. So looking what that did to structure right after we had our little Friday meltdown, uh, we hit the top of balance. I'll get into that in a minute, and then just totally rejected from there, which is a normal extent of price action. We left some single prints on all of the indexes, and we had some underwater trades go off, just a few in the Nasdaq. We had some excess in A. It really doesn't matter at this point. So looking at what is scheduled, right? All the rigmarole is over the tariffs right now, but looking at what is scheduled right now for the week, the main events really are the JOLTS report Tuesday at 10, right? That hasn't been that big of a volatility event the last few times. But this one is always poised for explosiveness either direction. We'll see then we'll know how the tariffs are or not. So we'll see if anyone even cares at that point for it. Uh, and then Friday, we're going to have non farm payroll. As far as earnings go, Tuesday after the bell, we're going to have Google. And Thursday after the bell, we're going to have Amazon. So those are your big catalyst events that are scheduled for the week. So I don't have the extended session turned on right now. So if the market were to open right now, we would be at 59.70. Let's round it off to that just for the sake of arguments. 59.50 is the point of control that was skipped over, right? We kind of fell down and we had a 3 day uh, balance, so to speak, from the 10th through the 14th of January, right? And then we, ripped up back towards the all-time highs, uh, did not get one, and then come back down, right, last week. And then in the overnight session, we bottomed out right around this 49.50. I think we hit 49.58 or 49.48, sorry, in the overnight session, if memory serves me right. So, anyways, this is your bogey line. So right now we would be opening up between these 2 points of control, this 59.50 and this, let's just call it 59.86. Keep in mind that last Friday, when the market topped off during the bell session, we had an untested point of control up here that was the highest one at 61.48 half. We topped out 3 ticks under that at 61.47.75 was the high, and then basically right back to this minor uptrend from these previous 3 days. If we and again on this chart, I don't have extended on because I think it's easier to see the bell to bell actions where the money is, right? It's not in the overnight. Uh, we can make money as individual day traders in the overnight session, but no one else really can, to be honest with you. Significant sums of money, anyways. Uh, so you need the opening bell to be, on when it in volume to start kicking off for major players to be able to make money, and so where the price is. So anyways, we come back up here. We had a 3 day balance on the Nasdaq from January 22nd to January 24th. Then we had that sell last week. Last week was all about just getting back up and tapping into that, right? Letting, I call it the refund trade, right? There were some traders that were caught up here, and there must have been more than you would think that were thinking that we are just gonna, lift off. And as soon as you hit that tap, right, that's when the reversal uh, hit on Friday. And the same thing for the ES, right? As soon as you hit that 3 day tap and that 61.48 basically area, one tick under there, that's when you reject it from. If we were to open up right now where we are for the NASDAQ, we're at 21,200, let's call it. This is right at the bottom of last week's balance, right? This is our swing low. So getting and taking out that level, which is 21,084, which we did take out in the overnight session, but was quickly reversed, uh, right? And then as we look at the ES, uh, basically just a little bit under 6,000, right? Uh, four, 3.25 points under 6,000 is right where the bottom of this balance is. We're obviously 31 points under that at this point in time, 35 points under that. So we'd be opening below this whole distribution block, right? So we could easily test the old balance at 5906. I'm not sure that's on the table for today. And here's what I'm thinking, right? These tariffs are set to go in tonight. Right now, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, uh, the market does not believe that if they do go in tonight, that they'll still be here by the end of this week, right? For whatever reason, that's the case. So we are holding, in my opinion, right now as a test just for tonight to see if we're going to hold at the bottom of balance, probably consolidate around the bottom of this balance area today. We're going to build a shelf, and that shelf is going to either be support or resistance the rest of this week, depending on what goes on with the tariffs. That's how I see this playing out today. It doesn't mean that we won't be volatile, but I expect a two-sided distribution down here. I could be wrong until I see otherwise, or if there's prints that come out that would prove that that's happening otherwise. Uh, we shall find out. But that's my theory running into it today, that we're just going to balance, let this play out, and then tomorrow that's going to either be support or resistance going into it. In the overnight session, even though we are down 100 points, the overnight session is 53.25 for the ES. And as we look at where we are, it's been pretty clean technically for all of the indexes in the overnight session. And I may you know I guess we don't really talk about this enough as traders, but if you see the market, trade the market. If you don't see the market, or the price action does not make sense to you, just stay away from it until it becomes clearer. As day traders, right, we can go a whole session, we can go a whole week without trading if we want, right? And some of the stuff you might have to take one trade a week or something, so you can just flip something or whatever for 2 minutes, if that's the case on something small. But uh, what I always watch when I see a gap open down like this or a gap open up is I watch the first 5 minute candle. And then until we get out of that significantly, one way or the other, to me, we're just balancing down there and really nothing's going on. So the algos took it down for whatever reason they like this price. It doesn't matter how what you think it is. That's what happened. We just come down here, we hit that level. And as you look at the overnight action, basically I said I'm waiting for two more moves and we haven't even completed the first move. So that's what I mean. So when you look at this profile wise, this is, you just look at the candle bodies, right? We have a set of candle. I'll do this so you can see what I'm talking about. For the NASDAQ's a little bit cleaner, right? You have basically, and I'll blow this up so you can see it. You have some candle bodies that are from here to here, right? You have that first 5 minute candle that went from here to here. Now, what's happened, and so I said, my comment last night in the room was, the bears haven't even been stopped out once yet. I have no interest in playing this at all until I see some blood. So now the bears got stopped out, right? If they're still holding, they're dumbasses, unless they just initiated something up here and have a very, limited risk on what they're willing to take this on, right? But if they are still short from this block down here, they're dumbasses for still holding up here, right? That's not what day trading is about. Uh, that's just hope. And then, so what I want to see next, right? Do we, go back down? And then when we go back down, does the middle of this block hold? Or do we go through and take out down lower, right? And then that's that would at least give the bears some of their money back, or let them, scratch it for a lot of them, right? If it's going to be pain and blood, right? We're going up again into this block before we go back down, right? And then when we go back down, it'll be from this block all the way through these. So I want to see some moves. I want to see some action before I participate, because right now, and I said this, last night, to me, it's somewhere around a 30% haircut that we should be getting basically overnight if these tariffs are enacted, right? So that would be a lock limit down. I'm not saying we get a lock limit down. That's not, what you should be playing for. It might take several sessions to go down 30%, but the market is a forward-looking mechanism, right? And if you don't think that we should be going down that low, right? You have to look at, all earnings are, right? And that's what you have to remember, that inside of these indexes, the S&P 500, there's 500 Fortune 500 companies, right? They all have margins, they all have, top line, bottom line. It's going to whack, you know, the earnings haircut. I don't even know what the earnings are expected for this year, but it could be that, there's basically no earnings, after it comes in, or very little. So the earnings could be cut by, three quarters for the S&P this 500 if we just have tariffs for 5 months, right? So don't let anyone tell you that it should only be, 5% or 7% or whatever. They're dead wrong. It doesn't. Now, when the market, understands that and puts the math on it, so that's a bottom up approach, right? You have to figure out what each company would be worth if these tariffs are in place. Looking out 6 months, you have to expect their sales to decline on imports and exports. If they are into imports and exports, you have to see what that's going to do to their staff, and what they would have to do to wages. Probably letting people go because their demand has dropped off. It should just be a cascading reset, right? And I'm not saying what Donald Trump is doing is wrong, because you know, basically, the we need a reset, right? If you don't like the way the country's been running, right? If you want to bring jobs back to America, right? You're going to have this pain. And then what's going to happen is some of these companies that are bigger, they're going to say, this is probably a 2-year stint, right? And then it might get deadlocked. At the most, it's going to be 4 years, and we're going to revert back to normalcy because he'll be gone, right? So chances are that you're going to get some companies that are going to say, we're just going to ride this out and, get smaller for the meantime. And you're going to get other companies that don't have that choice, that have to scramble. So it'll be an interesting play, and there's going to be a lot of stuff develop, a lot of stuff thinking out. But right now, I'm telling you that the market has zero belief that these tariffs will be in place by the end of the week. Uh, Tomorrow will be, above or below today's distribution, and then we'll have to go from there. So I think I beat this up a little bit more than I probably should have, and this is just my opinion, and my opinion doesn't mean diddly squat. It's what the market's opinion is, and right now the market doesn't believe anything. Uh, so we'll have to see. Again, I think there's going to be a distribution here today. We could probably get up to almost gap fill. I would say that you're probably going to get at least, if you can clear these signal prints that are above 370, right, you could get up towards probably 450, 500. I don't know if you can actually connect to last Friday's lows. That would be something if you did. and then we could get a test under the overnight low at one time for the ES. That's going to be close to 5,900, 5,900 to 5,910 more than likely. For the NASDAQ, you know, I don't think we can get down to 20,232 tonight or today. But if the tariffs go in place, you're probably looking at opening below 19,900 tomorrow. Uh, and we'll just have to see. And then the same thing for the Russell, you're probably looking at it open below 2,200. For the Dow, you're probably looking at, you know, the next stop on the bus will be right around 41,600. So we'll see what this goes in place. That's probably what should happen today, and we'll just have to see if that's what happens. You're gonna have to watch the VIX today a little bit more, but I would expect it to be two-sided today. I keep saying this. I expect balance down here while we build a shelf and wait and see. This is a wait and see. Basically, you're on support, right? So we're either going to be under support tomorrow morning, or we're going to be above this support that we built today. That's what I think. You guys trade safe, use your stops. We'll see what Jack's looking at, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.